Hello students, today we are going to learn about time series. So I will give a brief introduction about what we are going to study, what are the subtopics. So first we will define the components of a time series. Next, compute moving average. Then we will determine a linear trend equation, and we will compute a trend equation for a nonlinear trend. We'll do some forecasting using the trend equation. We'll determine and interpret a set of seasonal indexes. And finally, we'll deseasonalize data using seasonal index. So these are the topics that we are going to cover. Now to start with, what is a time series? Now a time series is a collection of data recorded over a period of time, say weekly, monthly, quarterly. So suppose stock market data, daily basis data, the opening of stock and the closing of stock for the day, for the month, for the year is an example of time series data. So it's a historical data. It can be used by management to make current decisions and plans based on long-term forecasting. So let us go into the details of components. What are the components of a time series? Now a time series consists of four components, which we in short designate as TCSI. Now T is stands for trend, secular trend. So it is the smooth long-term direction of a time series. Right? So in any business, suppose the sales trend, whether it is increasing, whether it is decreasing, or it is constant, or it is first increasing and then decreasing after some period of time. So trend, this is a trend equation, what we call, it's a long-term direction of a time series. Next is cyclical variation. Now, as we all know, it's a common fundamental of economics is that how there is a recession and there is a boom, and after every 5 to 6 years or 10 years there is a cyclical variation. There is a recession and there is a boom, so there is a sluggish period. So this is called a cyclical variation, which also affects the sales of the company. Third is a seasonal variation, which is very important component for our this topic of time series. Let us understand seasonal variation. So it's a pattern of change in a time series within a year, which tends to repeat each year. Just like if we talk about car sales in our country, every year in the month of Diwali or just before the month of Diwali, we will say October or November, we will find that the car sales are going high. So why it is happening so? Because it has a pattern. Just like the AC sales, the AC sales will go high in the month of May and June. So every year, if we plot the data, we'll see that in the month of June, or in the say for in case of AC, and say for car sales in the month of October, there is a high surge, there is a high rise in the data in the sales. So this is actually called a seasonal variation, which is very important. We'll study this in detail. And finally, the irregular variation. Irregular variation is a type of component where which is uncertain. Suppose there is an earthquake and there is a loss. Suppose there is some other phenomena. So lockout, strike, all these phenomena leads to irregular variation. So in a nutshell, we can summarize that there are four types of components: trend, cyclical variation, seasonal variation, and irregular variation. Now this is a chart. You can see that almost every 5 years there is a prosperity, there is a depression, and then there is a recession and so on. So the sales, battery sales data. This is the battery sales data of a retailer. So it is going high and it's going low at different parts at different years. This is a seasonal variation. Sometimes you can see that every in the quarter 2 the sales of baseball equipment are high. Okay, so this is a quarterly plot. Similarly, we can show many other graphs. Next is we'll study about the moving average method. So in the seasonal variation, we try to track the seasonal variation using moving average method. Now, what is a moving average method? Average method we know. First of all, it's useful in smoothing time series to see its trend. So any series, it will try to smoothen the data. That means whatever the say ups and downs and the irregularities are there in the data, that will be smoothened up. And it's a basic method used in measuring seasonal fluctuation. This is a very important that we can measure the seasonal fluctuation. So generally we do this with the help of an index, which is called a seasonal index. We'll learn in the next part how to construct a seasonal index. So let us understand the moving average method first. So in why moving? Because what we do in this method is that we take the 3 months. Suppose it can be 3-month moving average, it can be 5-month moving average, it can be 7-month moving average or 7-year moving average. So now what we actually do, let us understand. So for the first, if it is let us take an example of 3-month moving average. If it is a case of 3-month moving average, then we take the first 3 months, we take the average and we write in the second month. Again, in the next reading, we leave the first month, we take the second, third and fourth month, we take the average and we write in the third month. In this way, we proceed as if the average is moving downwards. So if you see, just let us take a data and let us understand. The graph I will show you later on. This is the graph. If you see how we are smoothing the data, these are the smoothened data, and this is the sales data. Now this has some seasonal fluctuation and this has been deseasonalized. So the whole method we'll learn here. Okay. So let us next is weighted moving average. So we have learned simple moving average. There is another moving average method which is a weighted moving average. Now in the simple moving average we talked about only just taking the average. But now generally in case of sales and marketing, if we see the forecasting or in production, the forecasting data is made, the data is forecasted. When the data is forecasted, then most relevant month is just the month before the I am predicting. Suppose I am predicting for the month of April the sales. So for the month of April, the month of March will be very relevant, and then next relevant will be February, and then it will be January. So to predict for April, we put more weightage on the month of March, next some less weightage on the month of February. So in this way we take the weightage. Now, so what is weighted moving average? Let's define it. So it's a simple moving average first of all. Now it takes the same weight in a simple moving average, but in weighted moving average we take different weights. Just like for the most recent month we put the most higher weight, and in the next month we put lesser weight. So let us take a data and understand this. So I have taken a data here. So you can just go through this data. So if you go through this data, this is the yearly data in a amusement parks. So these are the attendance data. Now you can see in the year 93, in this year, the attendance was 5,761. In the year 94, the attendance was 6148. In the year 95, the attendance was 6783. So this is the data. Now we will compute a 3-year moving average and a 3-year weighted moving average with weights of zero point 0.2, zero point 0.3 and zero point 0.5 for successive years. That means for the recent year, we will use the weight of 0.5. For the next, we'll use the weight of 0.3, and for the next, we'll use the weight of 0.2. So in this way, let us see the calculations. Yeah. So these are the weighted moving average. If you just go through, these are my data. These are the year, and these are the attendance data. So I am calculating the weighted moving average. So how I am calculating? I am multiplying the weight of 0.2. You can see here I have multiplied the most remote year, that is 93, with 0.2, and then multiplied the data, plus we have multiplied 0.3 with this, plus we have added 0.5 with the year 95. So, and we have taken this sum. This is a weighted moving average for the month of for the year of 94. In this way we have calculated. So for 95 we will take the year 94, 95 and 96, and we will take the weighted moving average. So in this way we have calculated the weighted moving average. So a little bit of linear trend, as we have learned in regression line. So in regression line, we deal with two variables, y and x. Now if we replace the x variable, that means y is a dependent variable. If you go through this equation, y is a dependent variable and x is a independent variable. Now when we are replacing the independent variable as time, where t is any time, this equation is called a linear trend equation. So the long-term trend of any business series can be approximate with a straight line equation, which is y hat is equal to a plus b into t, where a and b are the regression coefficients. So I think t is the time. So this is the linear trend equation. This is a linear plot. I can go through this. Next is the non-linear trend. So non-linear, where it does not follow a line, it's a curve. So what are non-linear trend? As we know, it's a linear trend is equal equation is used when the data are increasing by equal amounts. Say for a 1 unit, for increase in 1 unit, the data is increasing by a few units. Now, in a non-linear trend equation, it is used when the data are increasing or decreasing by increasing amounts over time. So it can take the shape of a parabola, hyperbola, ellipse, as we know from the different equation of it can be a logarithmic data, right? So this you can see the log data of some cells. So these are some type of measurement of using the time series data that we use to predict the different cells. So that's it for this.